Yoshi and the Mysterious Book comes out in just 2 days, and we already have the reviews for the game, so of course, if you're new to this, let me explain real quick. What I do is take a bunch of the reviews, put them together, and give you guys the general verdict as to what to expect from this game. Maybe you're on the fence of buying this game or passing on it, so hopefully this video does you justice and gives you the answers that you need. Before we dive in, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Yoshi and the Mysterious Book and Nintendo in general. We are still trying to reach our goal of 400,000 subscribers, and you can make that happen today. So let's see how many people we can get to subscribe from today's video alone. Thank you guys, and let's dive in. So thanks to Shinobi on Twitter, we have a list of some of the major reviews. Once again, it's all over the place. You got a lot of 6 and 7s. I'm not going to do it. But also a couple really good scores with a couple 9s, even a 10 up there, which is kind of insane to even see. But you're looking at mostly around 6 to 8s. The game is currently beating out the Nintendo Switch 2's 70s curse it's been going through. Just barely. It's hanging on the edge of 80, so hopefully it doesn't drop. It started off at 81, went down 1, so hopefully it doesn't go down anymore, or it's going to be joining the other games that we've been getting in the 70s recently. But believe it or not, this is actually a pretty good score and very consistent for Yoshi games. Yoshi's Crafted World was at a 79. Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U was at a 78 somehow. I still feel like that game was absolutely done wrong. That's one of my favorite 2D Yoshi games, or really Yoshi games in general. Forgot we haven't gotten a 3D game yet. But still not getting close to the original Yoshi's Island, which is like 91 right now. But today we'll be talking about 4 separate video reviews that I watched through and got information on. These reviews come from Nintendo Life, IGN, GameSpot, and Game Informer respectively. And for each segment, you'll be watching gameplay directly from that channel. So go feel free to check out any of their full reviews if you so please, but let's dive into the first one with Nintendo Life. Nintendo Life states that they were not a big fan of the art style. They said it sometimes looked pixelated and grainy, and it runs way better on dock, but even with that, the game didn't run too well for them, which is kind of strange. I mean, I played the demo and that was in a Target, and I thought the game looked really good on the TV that they were using, so I'm sure on my TV, it's gonna look insane. Yeah, I got a pretty good TV. But yeah, they really came in hard on the graphics and said that they used just the same assets in every biome, and it just didn't look as good as they thought it could have. They said the music, although, is really, really good, and it has great sound design. I'll be the judge of that. To me, Yoshi's Woolly World has the best music in the entire series, so we'll see if it even holds a candle to that game soundtrack. They state how the game takes around 3 to 4 hours to unlock every world, and it's one of the easiest games Nintendo has ever made, which is a pretty crazy statement. Nintendo Life states that the difficulty comes in the form of collectibles, but they reward just collectible finders and useless UIs. Now, you might be a little confused by what that means, and I'll talk about it a little bit more with a future review here, but yeah, when you beat the game, I guess, you get the option to spin smiley flowers on different UI icons that you can plaster on the screen, and most of it doesn't add anything to the game. Like, you will get some that are useful, like finding and tracking smiley flowers or creatures, but then there's some that are just really stupid. Like literally the temperature in the area that you're in, or if Yoshi likes or dislikes a certain creature when he puts them in his mouth. There's one UI option that's so wild, you're not gonna believe it, and I'll get into it during one of these next reviews. Nintendo Life states that there's little progression throughout the worlds and levels as you get deeper in the game. It's the same thing over and over and over again. You find an enemy, do a bunch of random tasks, and see if you're rewarded for them. Lots of the levels they claim feel empty and boring and a step down from past games like Woolly World. The reviewer even stated that her 4-year-old daughter wanted to play Mario Kart after just playing for about an hour and got bored of the game. So who is this game exactly for? Because this is something that you'll hear from another reviewer in a second. Nintendo Life claims that this game is definitely aimed to be for small children, but small children don't seem to really like it, and also, it doesn't really feel like it's in a game for adults, which normally is the case for Nintendo, where you can have games that are for children and adults. Nintendo Life claimed that adults may not find this one too interesting. Their overall verdict is that the game is made for children and gets boring very fast, and it has no difficulty whatsoever. And they gave the game a 6 out of 10, which based on the review, they were coming down pretty daggone harsh on this game. I can't believe it wasn't even lower. Now, IGN doesn't stray too far from where Nintendo Life was. They claim that there's tons of unique creatures with tons of unique gimmicks that keeps you on your toes. IGN states that some levels are unique and fun, and some are just frustrating with controls and mechanics that are also extremely frustrating. Some levels that actually had him very upset, where one we had to run through a crowded jungle camp of shy guys everywhere and touch each one at a very fast rate, or some creatures that just had really weird physics and controls that didn't feel like a clean, easy to use 2D platformer that Nintendo is normally known for, is good and accessible controls. IGN states once you complete the stages, revisiting them isn't all that amusing. It's like bubble wrap they compare this game to, and it's one of their biggest verdicts, is once you pop everything, it was fun and satisfying, but once it's popped, it's over. There's no going back and re-popping bubble wrap. IGN states that the maps are very small and very brief, and he also let his 3-year-old kid try the game out, and she said she'd rather play Kirby the Forgotten Land or even Tears of the Kingdom. Like, he literally even had her voice on the video review to prove it. Like, I'm just gonna play it.
Do you want to keep playing Yoshi?
No.
What do you want to play?
Kirby.
You like Kirby more? Yeah? Okay, we'll play Kirby instead.
This is where it gets so strange to me. I'm like, who is this game for? It's clearly marketed at very young children, but even these young children don't care about it. And it's something my friend also said as he went to the store and recorded me playing the demo. He says, who do you think this game is for? Because there's no kid I know that's gonna wanna play this day and age. Kids are playing Call of Duty, Fortnite, Roblox. They are not playing this baby Yoshi game. And it seems like even younger kids at 3 and 4 are in the same boat, which isn't a good sign. IGN then continues on and says that Chapter 6 is apparently peak and one of the best parts in the entire game. It was so good, he wished the entire game was like it. He couldn't show it off because of embargo rules, but I guess the stage was so good he just had to describe it, because apparently it's a stage where Yoshi can summon tons, if not all of the past creatures that you've already found, one at a time in a single level, which means you can walk up to different things, experiment, and try out different creatures, which feels like that's exactly what the game should have did, or at the very least, had one level at the end of each world that combined all the creatures of that world, so that way it could test you on the things that you learn with each creature. But the game doesn't do that, and even after this stage, it just moves back on to each level having a specific character that you do something with, and that's it. So I guess look forward to the last level of Chapter 6, because I feel like past that, it's all downhill, I guess, or at least it's just back on flat ground. IGN claims around Chapter 3 was when he was just kind of bored and had enough of it. IGN goes on to say that there are tons of discoveries to find, and some are pretty hard to find as well that might have you actively searching for what to do. Hunting for the flowers was way better than just finding random stuff and just getting rewarded for it. And he said it took him around 8 hours to finish, plus around 5 more for 100%. So I guess you can expect around 13 to 15 hours to fully complete this game. But then IGN talks about the UI unlocks at the end of the game, and they're just extremely bizarre. He claims it's just a bunch of useless stuff primarily that you can clutter the screen with. There's some things, like I said, you can find smiley flowers or track down creatures with some of them, but there are some, like one where it gives you Yoshi's health bar. He doesn't even have health in the game. He doesn't die. It just gives you a health bar. It's not like once it runs low, you die either. It's just there for visual cuteness. I don't know. It's so strange. So if you want, you can absolutely just clutter the entire screen with a bunch of gibberish. It's so strange, and Nintendo's normally like this when it comes to their 100%. They never have fun, rewarding rewards that you actually get for doing these tasks. It's just like, here's this meaningless golden poop. You know what game I'm talking about. But IGN's verdict was there just wasn't too much depth in its levels. It's very repetitive and charming, but it's very repetitive and charming bubble wrap, which means once it's popped, it's over, and you're not going to have a lot of value going back into those levels. IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. Now, there's a couple more that I want to go through briefly. We have GameSpot. GameSpot states you are documenting the enemies and creatures, not fighting them in this game. In fact, they're not even really enemies. They're just creatures that you interact with. GameSpot says that the controls are rock solid and they all feel very natural and fluid. Yoshi feels really good. The story is pretty much non-existent. Bowser Jr. and Kamek are just searching for a rare species, so they jump into the book to find it, and Yoshi for some reason is trying to stop them. But one thing that GameSpot said, that the main story has such a bizarre and left field plot twist that it was actually kind of dark and super surprising for this game, and they didn't expect it. So I don't know what's going to happen. Is the Grim Reaper going to come out the book and murder somebody? Is the book going to catch on fire and all the Yoshis are going to die in the game? Who knows? I think I personally lean on GameSpot's side when it comes to the graphics. I think the game looks beautiful. I love the backgrounds and the stylized color and like the kind of colored pencil look of everything, and even the skipping of the frames. I think it works really well for this. So I don't know. I agree with GameSpot, and they just continue to praise how good the game looks and runs. And they just pretty much say that the game is aimed for pre-readers, but has a lot of reading in it, which is also kind of conflicting. GameSpot's main takeaway is it's a fun and a new reinvented platformer, but also a gentle introduction for younger players, and they gave the game a 7 out of 10. And the last review that we'll talk about today comes from Game Informer. They state that the animations and 4K graphics look great. This footage that they gave didn't really show it too well. It's kind of darkened. I don't know how they recorded it, but sure. They take a different approach when it comes to the discoveries that you can find, and they say that accidentally finding missions while just messing around with the creatures in the world is actually a lot of fun, and it scratched a certain itch. It was satisfying to hear the pop and to see a new mission completed for just throwing an enemy in mud or doing other wacky experiments with the creatures in the world around you. So yeah, I can definitely see this being fun, kind of a turn your brain off type of thing. Game Informer states that the narrative is paper thin, and you roll the credits about halfway through your playthrough. And I guess the levels that you unlock after you complete the game are actually some of the best ones. You also have some really cool nostalgic levels thrown in there, I guess, whatever that means. But yeah, those levels after you beat the game are great. Game Informer's final review is that this is a low-stakes adventure with lots of rewarding moments, but it's mostly a feel-good, relax, carefree sort of game, and they gave the game a 7.75 out of 10. This is a weird score. Now, what do I think about all this? It was to be expected. I mean, it's a Yoshi game for children. We knew that it was probably going to be just about what the reviews are saying so far, so I'm not too, surprised. I think the graphics look amazing, and personally, I think this might be good for me to just have a game to turn my brain off and just mess around and not have to worry about anything. From some other people, I've heard that the 100% is actually extremely tedious, so that might actually end up being a good thing for me. But I don't know. What I see so far, it looks fine, but I think what I'm mostly concerned about is if children are not having fun with this thing, is anyone genuinely going to care about this? I don't want to judge the game too much until I obviously get my own hands on it, so we'll see very soon, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on how I feel about the game. But let me know in the comments down below. Has this video made you want the game more, want the game less? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out to stay up to date on all things Yoshi and the Mysterious Book and Nintendo in general, and I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day. See you guys.